Hi, my name is Kepsi Richard. Welcome to my channel. Today our discussion will be on polynomial functions. Before the video will end, I will introduce you to the general form of polynomial functions. Then we'll also learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide polynomial functions. This will be a very interesting engagement, so please be my guest. So when we talk of polynomial functions, polynomial functions are functions in the form f of s equal to a naught s exponent n plus a1 s exponent n minus 1 plus a n minus 1x plus a n, where a naught, a1, a n minus 1, then a subscript n are all constant, and a naught is not equal to 0. So in a simple term, polynomial functions take this form. This is an example of a polynomial functions. So now when we are met with a problem where we are asked to add and subtract polynomial functions, how will we do that? So if we are confronted with a problem to add or subtract polynomial functions, our task is to just add like terms or subtract like terms, and we are good to go. So, for example, they say if the polynomial p of x is equal to x exponent 4 minus s cubed plus s squared minus s plus 2, and q of s is 2s cubed plus 3s squared minus 5, we should find I, p of x plus q of s, I p of s minus q of s, and I q of s minus p of x. So how do we do that? So the first one, p of x plus q of x will be equal to the p, which is s exponent 4 minus s cubed plus s squared minus x plus 2, then plus our p of x, and the p of x is 2s cubed plus 3s squared minus 5. What do? We group like terms. So we have s exponent 4. Do we have any s exponent 4 term again? No. We have s exponent 3. Now we have another s exponent 3 term. So plus 2s exponent 3 and plus s squared. Then we have s squared term. That's plus 3s squared. Then we have the x term. We don't have any x term anywhere. Then constant term 2. Then minus another constant 5. So how do we get? S exponent 4. Now this is negative 1. The coefficient here is negative 1. So negative 1 plus 2 will be 1. So we have plus s exponent 3. Then this is 1. The coefficient is 1 plus 3 will give me 4. So we have plus 4 s squared, then minus s. 2 minus 5 will be negative 3. So we can say this is p of x plus q of x. So let's find the second one. That's p of x minus q of x. So the same way. So p of x is s exponent 4 minus s exponent 3 plus s squared minus x plus 2, then minus our q of x, which is 2s cubed plus s 2s cubed plus 3s squared, then minus 5. So let's expand that bracket. So we have s exponent 4 minus s exponent 3 plus s squared minus x plus 2. The negative will affect everything in the bracket. So we have minus 2s exponent 3, and this will give us minus 3s exponent 2. Then the negative times the negative 5 will be plus 5. What next? We group like terms. So we have s exponent 4 minus s exponent 3. Then we have another s exponent 3 term, so minus 2s power 3 plus s squared. Do you have any s squared term? Yes. Minus 3s squared minus x. We don't have any x term. Then our constants. So what do we have? Remember, you perform the operations on the coefficients. So negative 1 minus 2, that will be negative 3 s cubed. Then 1 minus 3 will be minus 2 s squared. We have minus x, then 2 plus 5 will give us 7. So we can say this is our px minus qx. So let's solve our third one. That's q of x minus the p of x. So the q of x first. So I have 2s cubed plus 3s squared minus 5. Then minus our p of x, which is s exponent 4 minus s cubed plus s squared minus x plus 2. What are we having? We have 2s cubed plus 3s squared minus 5. And the negative will affect everything there. So I minus s exponent 4, and this will be plus. Negative times this negative will give us positive. So plus s cubed, and this will be minus s squared, and plus x minus 2. What next? We group items, and we'll arrange it in order of a decreasing power. So this is the highest power, so we'll bring it first. S minus s exponent 4. Do you have any term like that? No. You have plus 2s cubed, anything? Yes, plus s cubed, then plus 3s squared minus s squared. Then we have a linear term x, a constant negative 5, then minus 2. So what are we having? Minus s exponent 4. So when we are adding or subtracting, we perform the operation on the coefficients. So 2, the coefficient here is 1, so 1 plus 2 will give me 3. So 3s cubed. Then 3 minus 1, the coefficient here is 1 minus 1, so 3 minus 1 will be 2, so 2s squared, then plus x, minus 5 minus 2 will be negative 7. And this becomes our q of s minus the p of x. The next thing is how we can multiply two polynomial functions. So when we are multiplying polynomial function, the trick is that each and every term in one polynomial function will multiply each and every term in the other. So that's the trick. So for instance, given that the function f of s is equal to s squared plus s minus 1, and g of s is equal to s squared minus s plus 1, we should find f of x times g of x. The dot means times. So what do we do? So f of x times the g of x will be equal to the s squared, that's the f of s squared plus x minus 1, times the g of x, which is s squared minus x plus 1. So I was saying that each and every term here will multiply each and every term there. So we say that this is s squared times s squared minus s plus 1. So the s squared will multiply each and every term there. Then plus x will multiply each and every term. S squared minus x plus 1. Then the negative 1 minus 1 will multiply each and every term there. S squared minus x plus 1. So after you multiply, you group like terms and simplify. So s squared times s squared. So here we are going to employ the idea of indices. So when two indices are multiplying, with the same base, we will just add the exponent. So s squared times s squared will just be s exponent 4. That's 2 plus this 2. Then s squared times s will be s cubed minus s cubed, because the exponent here is 1. 1 plus 2 will give me 3. Then the s squared times 1 will be x squared. Come to this place. X times x squared will give me s cubed minus s times this s will be s squared, because there is 1 here plus this 1, that will give us 2. X times 1 will be x. Now here negative 1 times x squared will be minus s squared. Negative 1 times minus s will be plus x. Negative 1 times 1 will be minus 1. So now we group like terms. We have s exponent 4. Do we have any s exponent 4 term? No. Then we have s exponent 3. We have another s exponent 3 term. And we have our s squared. We have minus s squared. Another minus s squared. And the next term is x. We have plus x, then minus our constant. After a group like terms, count and see if it is the same. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we are correct. What next? We perform the operations on them. So we have s exponent 4. So this is minus s cubed plus s cubed. That will give us 0. So that's minus 1 plus 1. It will be 0. Then we have s squared minus s squared, that's 0. Then minus our s squared. So we have minus s squared. Then s plus s will give us 2x, then minus 1. Then we can say this is our f of x times the g of x. I hope you get that. So the next thing we'll talk about is the division of polynomial functions. Before we go there, I want us to get the necessary tools that will enable us to understand the division of polynomial functions. Now, if we have a polynomial p of x divided by the q of x, the p of x is called the dividend. And the q of x is called the divisor. So if we have 3 divided by 2, the 3 here is the dividend and the 2 is the divisor. Now when 3 divides 2, we'll have 1, remainder 1, so we say 1 whole now 1 over 2, and this can be written as 1 plus 1 over 2. What is this? This is, remember, is the divisor, the 2, and this is remainder, the remainder, and this is the divisor. Now the one or the answer, how do we call that? We call that the quotient. The quotient. So we can say, remember, this is the dividend, and this is the divisor. So we can say that the dividend over the divisor is equal to a quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Please, this will play a very important role in our understanding of this topic. So remember, the dividend over divisor is equal to quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. So when we are dividing polynomial functions, we are going to employ the idea of long division in general mathematics that we used to do. So for instance, if I have 2x cubed divided by s squared. It will reduce the divisor will reduce the dividend by will reduce the power by 2. So once I subtract 2 from 3, that will be 1. So we'll get 2s squared. We'll get 2s, sorry. So if we multiply this by this, we should get this back. For instance, 2x times s squared will give us 2s squared. For instance, if we have s exponent 5 divided by s exponent 2, this will reduce the dividend power by 2. So that will be equal to s exponent 3. When we multiply this and this, you get this back. That's s squared times s3, s exponent 3 will give us s exponent 5. So with this trick, we'll be able to divide two polynomials. So we'll take some sample questions and see how we'll deal with it. So let's solve our first problem, a simple one for that matter. 2s squared minus 3s plus 1 all over s minus 1. So how do we deal with that? So as I told you, we are going to employ the idea of long division. Whilst the dividend to be outside and the divisor will be outside and the dividend will be inside. So now if x divide 2s squared, what do we have? See, we have 2s squared divided by s. I told you to reduce it by, to reduce the power by 1. So we have 2x. So we say s will go into 2s squared, 2x. So if this multiply this, we'll get this. So s times 2s will get 2s squared. Then you let this multiply it as well. So minus 1 times 2s will minus 2s. What next? You subtract. So this from this will be 0. Then this from this, remember the subtraction. Negative 3 minus negative 2. That will be negative 3 plus 2. And that will be negative 4. So you can say 3x minus negative 2s will be minus s. So we have minus x. Then we bring our plus 1. So s will go here. We divide this. So if we have minus s divided by s, it will reduce it by 1. So the answer will just be negative 1. So we say to be negative 1. S times negative 1 will give you negative x. The negative 1 times negative 1 will be plus 1. Then when we subtract this from this is 0. We subtract this from this, that will be 0. So we can say that 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, remember, which is the dividend, while the divisor x minus 1 will be equal to 2x minus 1, which is the quotient. Remember, the remainder here is 0. So if we bring the remainder over the divisor, it's still 0. So if this divide this will be the result. So let's see our second question. Let's solve 12x squared minus 5x minus 2 divided by 4x plus 1. So how do we do that? So remember, this is the dividend and that's the divisor. So with our long division sign, we have our divisor outside and the dividend inside. So remember, this should divide the first one here. So if we have 12x squared divided by 4x, this will reduce the power by 1, so we have x. Then 4 will also divide 12, 3. So we say it will be 3x. We'll put the 3x here. 4x times 3x will give us 12x squared. And then 1 will also multiply. 1 times 3x will be plus 3x. Now we subtract. Once I subtract this from this, it will be 0. We subtract this from this, that's negative 5 minus 3. That will give us negative 8. So negative 8x, then we'll bring our constant, negative 2. So 4x will go into, or we'll divide 8x, that will be minus 2. So if we have 8x, negative 8x minus divided by 4x, this will reduce that by 1, so it's 0. Then negative 8 divided by 4 will be negative 2. So when we multiply, we should get that 4x times negative 2 will negative 8x. Then 1 times negative 2 will negative 2. When we subtract, we get 0. That means there is no any remainder. It can divide it without any remainder. Then we can say 12x squared minus 5x minus 2 divided by 4x plus 1 is equal to 3x minus 2. So let's solve our next question. That says that we should solve 5x cubed plus 14x squared plus 7x minus 2 divided by 5x minus 1. So still, we are going to use the long division. The divisor outside, then the dividend inside. Plus 14x squared plus 7x minus 2. So 5, this 5. So 5x. So 5x divided by the 5x cubed will be x squared. So in other words, when we multiply x squared by 5x, we'll get 5x cubed. So this times this will give us 5x cubed. And the negative 1 will also multiply. Negative 1 times x squared will minus x squared. So when we subtract this from this, we'll get 0. After when we subtract this from this, so remember the coefficient here is 1. 14 minus negative 1. That will be 14 plus 1. And that will be 15. So we'll get 15x squared. And we'll bring the rest 7x, then minus 2. 5x will go into 15x. How many times? That will be 3x. 5x times 3x, that will give us 15x squared. Then negative 1 times 3x will minus 3x. Then we subtract again. This from this will be 0. Then 7 minus negative 3. See, 7 minus negative 3. That will be 7 plus 3. And it's 10. So we have 10x. Then minus our constant. 5x. 10x divided by 5x. That will be 2. 5x times 2 will give us 10x. Negative 1 times 2 will be negative 2. On subtract, we get 0. So we can say that our 5x cubed plus 14x squared plus 7x minus 2 divided by 5x minus 1 is equal to x squared plus 3x and plus 2. So let's look at our next question. It says solve 2x exponent 3 plus 8x squared minus 5x minus 1 divided by x squared minus 3x plus 1. So how do we go about that? We have 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 5x minus 1 and divided by x squared minus 3x plus 1. So 2x cubed divided by x squared, that will be 2x. So x squared times 2x will give us 2x cubed. And we'll let this also multiply. Minus 3x times 2x will minus 6x squared. And then 1 will also multiply. 1 times 2x will be plus 2x. So we subtract. This from this will be 0. 8 minus negative 6. So 8 minus negative 6. That will be 8 plus 6. And it's 14. So we have 14x squared. Then this. Negative 5 minus 2. That will be negative 7. So minus 7x. Then our constant. So x squared will go into, or 14x squared divided by x squared. That will be 14. X squared times 14 will be 14x squared. 3x. 3 times 14. So 14 times 3. 4 times 3 will be 12. 2. That will be 42. So 3x times 14x. That will be minus 42x. And 1 times 14 will be plus 14. What next? We subtract. So this from this will be 0, then this from this, that will be negative 7 minus negative 42. That will be negative 7 plus 42, and that will be 35. So I have 35 first. Then negative 1 minus 14, negative 1 minus 14, that will be equal to, that will be negative 15. Now if we realize that there is still a number to be divided, that's why after subtracting we did not get 0, and this is less than that, then it means that this is the remainder. So there is a remainder there. So we can say that if you have 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 5x minus 1 divided by x squared minus 3x plus 1. Remember in our introduction we said this will be the quotient. So the quotient will be 2x plus 14, then plus the remainder. The remainder is 35x minus 15 over the divisor. And the divisor is x squared minus 3x plus 1. So this is the result when this is divided by that. So we solve our last question on this. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are here to share my videos, like and comment. This will make my YouTube channel grow more and I can share more mathematical content with you. So now pause the video and try solving the question on the board. After that, you compare your answers with mine. The question says we should solve x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 2 all over x plus 1. So we'll use the division again, where the divisor will be x plus 1 and the dividend is x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 2. So x cubed divided by s, that will be s squared. X times s squared will be s cubed. 1 times s squared, that will be plus s squared. Now we subtract. This from this will be 0. This negative 1 minus 1. So we have negative 1 minus 1. That will be negative 2 s squared plus 2x then plus 2. This will divide it, that will be minus 2x. S times negative 2s will be negative 2s squared. 1 times negative 2s will be negative minus 2x. So s times negative 2s, that will be negative 2s. Then 1 times negative 2s, that will be 2s. Now we subtract. This from this will be 0. Then 2 minus negative 2. See, 2 minus negative 2. That will be 2 plus 2. And it's 4. So our 4x plus our constant. S will divide 4x 4 times. So our 4. S times 4 will be 4x. Then 1 times 4 will be plus 4. This from this will be 0. 2 minus 4, that will be negative 2. We realize that this is less than that, then it means that it leaves a remainder of 2. So we can boldly say that x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 2 all over x plus 1 is equal to our quotient, which is x squared minus 2x plus 4 plus the remainder, which is negative 2, over the divisor, which is x plus 1. I hope you have the same answers as you compare to mine. So end it here today. Please check out my videos on remainder and factor theories on polynomial functions on YouTube. Until we meet again, my name is Tete J. Kepsi Richard.